This is Kitty Caracciolo back with video number 2 of how I created this pretty paper flower bouquet using flower and foliage dies by Rubbernecker. While I'm starting to put my first few stems together for this bouquet, I want to point out that there's really no right or wrong on how you create this bouquet. It's all up to what you desire it to look like. I started with these 3 yellow tulips to create a front frame for my bouquet. And although I normally don't like to have 2-color flowers right together in a bouquet, you certainly can if you want to. I'm picking up the taller stems now and creating what I think of as the back frame for my bouquet. Well, you see there, they sometimes don't stick. You got to pick them up, maybe even put more adhesive on. I'm using Glossy Accents to create my bouquet. It holds very well, and especially here in Florida where I live, where we have a lot of humidity. I hate to spend time putting together a beautiful creation and then having it fall apart because it just got damp with the humidity. Now you can see that I had put the 3 pink flowers in place for my back frame, and now I'm starting to pick up other colors. And you're going to see as I build this that I really won't end up having my 3 front tulips of the same color right together. And I've sped this video up to about 1.5 times so that you didn't have to sit while I thought what the thought process was for the next flower that I wanted to put in place. You can see there that I'm holding the stems together really tightly with my fingers just to be sure every flower is intact. I do what you call dry fitting. I pick up flowers. I may not put the adhesive on right at the beginning. I may be trying to stick that stem down where I may want to adhere it, and then I put the adhesive on and put it in place. As you can see, the bouquet is coming together. It's forming, and I actually do have 2 pink flowers side by side there, and it doesn't matter because when I get through with this, it's going to be a really pretty mixed flower bouquet, and you won't notice how all the colors are going together. You're just going to see the pretty bouquet. I'm not talking constantly here because I just want you to be able to watch the process, and you can give this a try, and if you're not happy with your first attempt, I don't want you to be discouraged. It just takes a little time to learn how to put the stems together, and your eye can tell you how you really want your bouquet to look. So you can see there I'm playing with the flowers, I'm moving things, putting them in place. Sometimes I put adhesive on both sides of a stem just so when I start inserting it in, I'm sure that I'm going to be able to get it to stick in place. I love these little Canterbury bells. They look so pretty in the bouquet. And I only have 3 stems left to put in. And these are the small blooms that came with the pink set of flowers that I used. And I love putting blooms in place in a bouquet because it just gives a more spring-like and natural looking bouquet. You went out into the field and you picked up your flowers and you want to put all of them together. And little by little you can see how this is forming, and it's coming in to be a full bouquet. I put adhesive on both sides of that stem because I knew I was going to stick it down and I wasn't sure where it was going to land. One more little bloom. And I pushed together on both sides with my fingers and thumbs just to be sure everything is in place. Now I'm going to add foliage to the bouquet. It creates a background of foliage. The top of the foliage stems are sticking up out of the flowers and soften the whole arrangement. You're going to see here that the first foliage I'll put on is going to fall off or stick to my finger about 3 times, and that happens, and you just have to go with it. There, see, I didn't get it adhered to the back of the bouquet well enough. So I'm forming that foliage background frame, and I hope you can tell from this view how just those few tips of foliage sticking out from behind the flowers adds a more natural look. It softens, and I love how those large pieces come together with the bouquet. The foliage set comes with several sizes of foliage pieces, and it's one of my favorite new die sets that we have because there's so many things that I can do with it. I think you would love it too. So I'm putting those 2 small pieces of foliage in place just to soften the front. I'm going to apply liquid Glossy Accents to the first stem that I put in place, and I'm attaching a few small formed flowers in place that just softens up the front of the bouquet a little bit. The next thing is I'm going to put that pink stem that you see there in place. But first, I'm going to apply liquid Glossy Accents all over the back. I put a generous amount on. As you can see here, I'm using my reverse tweezers to hold the flowers in place or picking up the small pieces. The reverse tweezers are like a third hand to me. I don't know what I would do without them. Now I put double stick tape on the back of the frame and mounting tape down on the bottom. I'm sorry, not frame, the pot. And that way the double stick tape at the top of the pot is sticking to the already pushed up arrangement, but the bottom then is standing out in place. Now I put that stem on, and that little tip end of that stem is showing in the bouquet, so I added one more flower over the top of that just so that bare stem end wouldn't show. I've got one more section made that I want to add, which creates such a pretty look of the stems overflowing out of the bouquet. I hope you've enjoyed watching this process. I want you to feel free to email me anytime that you have questions. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching this video.